me deal with my grief. So when times were rough, it helped me get through. We've made a lot of bonds that have strengthened the healing process.
A lot of the focus was on the surviving children of military casualty. Called the Good Grief Camp, the children not only had a great time playing and surrounding themselves with other children they could relate to, they also learned a lot about grief and how to deal with their issues. As an added bonus, the children were buddied up with volunteer soldiers from Fort Benning who let them see a familiar uniform and helped them to open up.
It really kind of baffled me to see the kids open up as much as they did. Some of these kids, you know, their moms, their dads, their uncles, good friends of theirs, I just couldn't imagine. And they're opening up, they really do, pretty well, and it seems like it helps them.
Over the 2-day-long camp, both children and adults were exposed to intense grief therapy and given tips on how to deal with depression, as well as where to turn when they need help. For the close of the seminar, both children and adults separately took small sheets of tissue paper and wrote a message to their fallen loved one. They then tied the message to a balloon, and with a heartfelt "I love you," released it into the sky. First the children, then the adults. Matt Gallup, Fort Benning TV.
TAPS is available 24/7 via hotline for anyone that needs help. That number, 1-800-507-TAPS. You can also find out more about TAPS at their website, and that's taps.org. Hollywood has come to Fort Benning, well, electronically anyways, in the form of the popular quiz show, Jeopardy! Classroom Jeopardy! Is an interactive computer system that replicates the real quiz show, except instead of Alex Trebek, the teacher is the host, and students even use buzzers to play the game. The interactive game, which can be customized by teachers, was donated to students at Lloyd Elementary by its partner in education, WRBL. To introduce the game to these third graders, Jeopardy! Clue Crew member Sarah Whitcomb served as the host of this Classroom Jeopardy!
What we see is that interactive education is far more exciting and more interesting for the kids. So when you see Classroom Jeopardy! You see kids playing along, you see them really just interested in listening, and I think it just makes for a more fun way to learn. And any way that we can make learning more fun, I think, is a great thing. So I think it definitely is something that will continue to happen, and I'm just happy that this product really does bring together all the sights and sounds of Jeopardy! And you really feel like you're playing the game, not just learning a lesson.
The first place team scored $16,000. Of course, it wasn't real money. Classroom Jeopardy! Is in almost 30,000 schools nationwide. For close to 60 years, an organization in Columbus and the surrounding area has been helping at-risk girls to stay in school and away from trouble by getting them involved in the community. In honor of Veterans Day, the girls jumped into action against a few competitive veterans. Our Matt Gallup explains.
Since 1952, Girls Incorporated has been in the business of helping young girls, and their powerful numbers and results have grown more and more as each year passes. Girls Incorporated is primarily an after-school program and offers its attendants activities that encourage them to take risks, think wisely, and make good choices in their lives. Some of the programs include team sports, community service, and a class that helps to prevent adolescent pregnancy. Dorothy Hyatt, former member of Girls Inc. as a child and now executive director, shares with us just what Girls Inc. does.
We really are affecting change in girls' lives, and they come here every day. It's safe. It's very inexpensive. It's very accessible to all girls. And I'm glad of that. I'm glad that these girls have a place to come and they can learn skills that will help them become productive members of our community.
A few years ago, sports director Walter McKee discovered the very exciting and fast-paced sport of competitive jump roping. It not only challenges the girls physically, it also helps to build confidence and self-esteem. Since the program began, the best girls have traveled all over the country and competed in the Amateur Athletic Union's Junior Olympics. Most recently, they traveled to Des Moines, Iowa, winning 2 silver medals and 1 bronze. They picked Veterans Day to celebrate America's heroes and to hold their annual competition, where they choose the next jumping squad to represent Girls Inc.
You'd be amazed at the change that some of the girls have because of jump roping. First of all, it helps them with leadership and self-esteem because we have some girls on the team who are leaders, and they end up taking on leadership roles and teaching other girls how to jump.
After a thank you to all the veterans in attendance, the competition was underway and the energy was felt throughout the room. You could really tell these girls put a lot of time and energy into the training that competitive jump roping requires, and they were having a blast doing it. Whether win or lose, these girls had a great time both jumping rope and celebrating Veterans Day.
Thank you everybody very much for saving our country.
Matt Gallup, Fort Benning TV.
If you're interested in enrolling your child in Girls Inc., or if you're a grown-up that wants to volunteer with the group, just call 706-683-0809. Coming up, the roughest, toughest rugby players battle at Benning. The blood bends and drop kicks straight ahead. Welcome back to the Benning Report. Rugged men from all over the world duked it out at Fort Benning, competing in the Armed Forces Rugby Championship. The renowned event was hosted for the second year in a row by MWR in November at Stewart Watson Field. Our Ron Andrus brings us the details of the intense 4-day tournament.
Touch, pass, engage!
It's that time of year again when military rugby stars descend on Fort Benning and go head-to-head to prove who's the best rugby team in all the services.
It's always a battle when we come here because you don't know who's coming with what team, and it's always that Navy's always comes hard, the Marines are physical, and we've got this embedded rival with the Army, and it's always a physical match. And the Coasties, you know, they always come and they play hard. You can't take any of these teams lightly, because they'll sneak up and they'll bite you.
The Armed Forces Rugby Tournament not only brings out great sportsmanship, but it also provides a venue to promote camaraderie between the services.
It's important, and it's a rallying point, I think, for all the services to come either here or wherever it is and get together for a good week of rugby.
I think it brings the services together and it displays the camaraderie that you learn in rugby and gamesmanship. It also brings warriors together in the field.
It was another hard-fought competition this year, and after 2 days of round-robin play, the Army and Air Force teams were left standing to battle for the title.
I think Air Force plays a very hard-nosed attacking game, and Army plays a very hard-nosed attacking game. And when those teams meet, you know, something's got to give.
Both teams fought hard and left everything on the pitch, but at the end of the game, Air Force came out on top and secured their 6th straight title.
You got to give it to the Air Force. They bring the wood.
It feels great. 6 in a row. Awesome competition. It's a well-played match. Very physical matches to get to the finals. And the Army put up one heck of a battle, both in the pool play and also in the finals.
It's just special to come back and dominate like we do, have a great time while we do it, and enjoy playing rugby and hanging out with the guys, which is what it's really about.
Ron Andrus, Fort Benning TV.
This is the 6th straight title for the U.S. Air Force, and their championship reputation is known around the world. When the chief of the Royal Australian Air Force heard about the success of the U.S. Air Force, he challenged the team to a playoff match for bragging rights. They accepted and went head-to-head just days after the Armed Forces Rugby Tournament. The U.S. Air Force struck early with a few scores and took the early lead. The Australians quickly fought back and tied the game, but during the second half, the Americans closed down the deal and won the challenge with a 34-18 victory over the Australians. The Americans were awarded the Paul Milne Trophy, named after an Australian pilot and American crewman who fought side by side, eventually getting shot down and killed during World War II. The two teams hope to make it an annual event.
Our boys just kept attacking. Just a fantastic display of rugby. I couldn't be more prouder than our boys for beating the Australians.
This is just an awesome test of how good our team can be playing somebody else outside of our country.
Yeah, initially I was quite surprised at the standard talent, but there's a lot of good athletes here, and there's certainly a couple of guys in that squad that I'd love to get posted to Australia and play for us for a couple of years.
And that will bring this edition of the Benning Report to a close. But these and other news stories are online at benningtv.com. We really love hearing from you guys, so email us at benn.pao@us.army.mil. From the Public Affairs Office, thank you for watching us, and have a great day.